buy-in. If you have your IT shop and your business and they don't like each other, on one hand, Agile may not be right, but on the other hand, it may be a perfect opportunity to get those two groups together, to collaborate, like Sally said, and to actually work together. But you do need buy-in. Buy-in means you need resources, you need their time, you need their commitment, they need to think Agile, not just kind of go through the routine and say, yeah, we're doing an Agile project, but I'm not sure what that means. But they really have to buy into the concept. How we did that at Mutual was we trained together. We actually went to training classes together, we had planning meetings together, we co-located. I mean, we see each other almost more than our families in some cases, some iterations. We are lucky, we did co-locate. We actually have a war room, a team room, where we have workstations where we can co-design together, test together. Huge opportunity to be able to talk to your business and say, let's design this user interface screen. How do you like this? No, I don't like that. And go back and forth, and within an hour, you've nailed down all the requirements. You're halfway through developing. In fact, you can even start testing in some cases. But it's just so powerful. Instead of saying, oh, let's write down your requirements, let me go back and code it, then let's test it. Oh, I got it all wrong. Let's start all over. But the collaboration is just huge. So if you have a group that collaborates well to begin with, it might be an ideal project to start Agile.
I have a question. How about when you have multiple locations, and again, co-location isn't reasonable? I mean, of course, you do WebEx and things like that. What are you guys' experience with things like that?
Good question. The question was, what if you're dispersed, your team's in multiple locations? Yes, some of the things we use is WebEx. We also use conference calls every day. We have a very flexible work schedule, so my team is never all in the office any one day. Someone's always calling in or WebExing in. So what that always means is when you're dispersed, it means you need more communication. You may have more written documents, more emails, instead of, if you're all in one location, it's face-to-face communication. That way you can see the facial expressions. But there are teams, we have done that with WebExes. We do like to get together, especially at the very beginning, especially for training, get to know each other. When you're collaborative, that means you're talking to each other, you need to have that trust factor, and so it's really important that you get to know your business partners especially. IT, we tend to sometimes care about people, no we do, but sometimes it's really the business. My business people, they want to see me. They like to face-to-face. So that sometimes means I have to go off-site to see them. We have several locations in Omaha, and well, now we're a bank, so across the United States. So we're constantly having WebExes and flying to different places. But as the Scrum Master, as a project manager, you will probably spend more time on flights and making sure you can see them and talk to them and see if they have any impediments. A lot of places that do dispersed Agile or Scrum, they will have a project manager or Scrum Master on site that maybe reports, not directly, but reports to a master, Scrum Master, if you will. So it's kind of like a program that they'll report up, and they do try to increase that communication when you are dispersed. Does that answer your question? Other questions? Sir?
Could you also make a statement that Agile development, kind of all of us in this room, any project that we've been successful with, follow the Agile development methods, even though it wasn't formally Agile at the time, getting the users involved, getting the developers and all sorts involved, getting everyone together made a better project than when we tried to segregate the work and silo it.
Can I take that one, Kelly?
Sure. Do you want to repeat the question?
So the question is, aren't most projects that succeed using Agile methods anyway? Right? That's kind of the question. You know what's really interesting, and that's a good point that you bring up, when you really understand the history behind Agile and enforcing the Agile rules, which is you must have a dedicated and committed business sponsor, product owner. That sounds familiar to you? Have you ever had a successful project where you did not have, forget Agile, before you did Agile, did you ever have a successful project where you did not have a committed and engaged sponsor? You did?
We did.
Oh, really? Who was it?
We just had a product owner who wouldn't take ownership of the product. Therefore, we're slimming and gathering and trying to drive stuff ourselves.
So it wasn't a good thing because they, okay. Did you guys ever have a successful project without having teams work together? With completely slicing them apart and having them just hand off documentation between each other and nobody sees what anybody else is doing? Has that ever actually worked for you? I mean, if it has, tell me. I'd like to hear the story.
I want to know too. Yeah,
It had, but we ended up with 3 different implementations, so.
Oh, 3 different implementations, okay.
that happens. I think what Sally's saying is, you can be very successful at waterfall. I've had tons of projects that I use traditional project management, but what we did was, yeah, we collaborated with the business. They were part of the team. We had the trust. We had the sponsor engagement. I think if you look at some of the PMI surveys, what makes a project successful? Usually the #1 item is you have an engaged product owner or sponsor. They are there. They know their business. They know what they want to accomplish. They're there to lead the team. They spend time with you, answer questions. So, yeah, this is not, you're right. You use those things like collaboration and trust and engagement with the team and the product owner. It can be successful.
Right, making sure that we know the changes, we take those into account and develop versus rolling out.
Change them all of these Agile are best practices that have already been used for years. What Agile did is put it into one methodology.
I just wanted to get into that before you guys started talking about Scrum.
Okay. You know, Forrester actually said something interesting, a researcher. He said that any successful PMBOK project manager was already doing Agile, just not calling it Agile, using Agile techniques. And any extremely successful Agile project manager is applying a lot of what PMBOK says, they're just not calling it PMBOK.
We were calling it
Forrester research, an analyst recently.
Agile on steroids.
Did you guys hear that? Agile and steroids. So, yeah.
You're constantly doing projects and getting users involved in weekly basis, daily basis, and developing software. We came up with a lot of good things. So, I mean, we didn't consider that cowboy where there was one person doing the database work, child work, and everything else, or doing requirements. We got enough people together to do what we need to do.
And that's good. The key is communication, collaboration. You're going to end up with a better product because you have that constant communication, that iterative approach, the customers seeing what you're developing. So, yeah, Agile is just putting it all together. And they're calling it Scrum, they're calling it Lean. There's different methodologies.
I just think a lot of people were taking on, an academic approach to siloing. That seems to be where we're trying to get away from that. This is the right one.
Other potential projects for Agile is modern languages, but I'm here to tell you that we've done it with COBOL, we've done it with Pack-Base, so it's not just the .NET, it's the Java. It can be successful with service and support projects as well. Package solutions, but if it's a vendor package, make sure they're okay and they understand Agile. Otherwise, you may not get their participation. They may be off-site, so they may not be available to you. And where projects where your requirements are unknown, where you truly need discovery. We have to do iterative approach to figure out what you're really trying to deliver in the long run. So those are some guidelines that we at Mutual of Omaha, you may have your own for your own organization, but I just want to let you know, there's a lot of questions I get is, how do I know if my project can be Agile? Yeah, okay, good. This is you.
Okay, so what is servant leadership? Servant leadership is a lot of what you've been hearing in this conference so far about creating high-performing teams. You will not create a high-performing team, project team, or a team that reports to you until you learn how to set a vision. A lot of people have said it in a lot of different ways here. We actually call it an igniting purpose.